Welcome to the U World Order Showcase Program, the platform dedicated to highlighting visionary entrepreneurs and coaches who are shaping the U World economy. Each week, we're celebrating the power of the individual and coming together to uplift and empower one another to reach new heights of growth and prosperity as we showcase a coach, company, or entrepreneur stepping out to be the change they want to see in the world. With our collective efforts, we're creating a world where every person has the tools to realize their full potential and thrive like never before. Join us today as we chat with this week's guest to learn how they got started, what they're doing, and how they're making a difference in shaping the U World Order.
All right, Lisa, welcome to the U World Order Showcase program. So we were talking just a little bit about what you do, and I thought you were a dream maker, but you're really a happiness maker. So tell us about that.
Thank you so much for having me. Yeah. I said to you, I like to call myself a happiness coach because no matter what you work on with somebody, it ultimately helps them be happier. And I've began all sorts of things. Tried to do retirement coaching. I then ended up landed in career coaching. And even when you work on career coaching, you can tell that there are things on the outside that affect that person's career. So you end up talking about relationships or time management or relationships outside of the family, all sorts of things that ultimately are building blocks to people's happiness. So I decided that was the ultimate, the happiness coach was the best thing I could be that helped describe what I do.
On your website, I was just kind of like poking around on there. You talk about, and the reason that I thought of Dream Maker was because you help people create their visions or realize the visions that you help them create. And so tell us a little bit about that.
Yes, yeah, for sure. Like I said, some people come to me thinking they want a new career. Some people come to me thinking they want to change jobs, sidestep. But when we start to work on things with them, strange things can happen. So I built a program originally that I used to work with my clients, especially on this career development piece. But the very first step is to work on themselves and to understand themselves more. And even I haven't worked on my values till I was in my 40s. And it's like a lot of people just don't do it. So sitting down and looking at your personality, what you've liked about your jobs, the things that really light you up, what your values are, all of this that makes you realize what have made things in your life and your career so far the best pieces and what you want more of. And sometimes it means that you don't necessarily have to change jobs. You just change the way you look at the one you've got or what you want to develop in it. So it's been really interesting to see the phases people go through with that. And I like to call that first phase that like the foundation. And so the program is built almost like going through the house. You know, you've got the strong foundations and then you work floor by floor. And I talked to something as well called staircase planning, where each level, if you like, or floor, the steps in between, but then you pause. And that platform, like climbing a staircase, is a place to stop and reflect on how you've got there and then what's coming next and make sure you've celebrated the pieces you've done well. And then you look forward and make sure there's enough in place to get to the next level. And then off you go again. And I like that layered approach. And I've used this phrase quite often recently that, like Harry Potter, the staircases can move. And that's what a lot of the time I see when you get to a different platform. People can change their minds or suddenly something else becomes more strong that they need to do instead. So when we've been through a lot of... Sorry, go on.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say, when we've been through a certain level of those phases, then that's when we start to talk about the vision and we dream about this vision. And I use my own experience in trying to lose weight for my brother's wedding as how I had such a strong vision in my mind of what that wedding I was going to feel like, how I was going to look like, and how I was going to be dressed, and everything about that it became so strong that my bulletproof journey was from that vision. It made me constantly remember what I wanted to be like and where I was going to actually keep me on track. And that's what I like to think that midpoint in my program does. We get to that strong vision that keeps that person bulletproof to the end.
And there's so much science behind that. A lot of people think, oh, I've heard that all before. That's so woo-woo and can't really work. But it does work. And I know Dr. Joe Dispenza has done a lot of actual scientific measurements and things like that around this whole concept of envisioning what you want to feel like in the future, but hold that in the present, and it will help your brain to actually propel you towards that, realizing what it is that you're envisioning. It's so powerful, and it's really lovely that you're helping people with this in concrete ways. You have a 5-day program that you offer?
Yeah, I have a 5-day challenge, and it's all on Thinkific, so it's very easy for people to pick up and consume at their own pace. So it helps anybody in the globe that wants to do it. That's about a reset. So it's taking one element of your life, and it's probably a mini program of the one I talked about, where you work on yourself, you work on where you want to be or what you want to reset, and then you plan the way to reset it. And that has been really successful for people. I've seen people work on it for stopping smoking, for starting up a new business, changing career, losing weight. There's been all sorts of things people have done with that, and it's been quite fun to see the results that people have had, just in that 5 days. And it makes people realize that, just like you say, giving that focus on something, just how much energy you can put behind it. And the 3 words I love to use the most is energy, passion, and drive. And as long as you've got that bulletproof vision, you build up that energy and the passion and the drive to get there. And I think you mentioned Joe Dispenza. He's done a lot of science up behind it, yes, but also that manifesting piece, that tell the universe what you want, and it will come. And it's so true. A lot of other people who are more logical will say wherever you put your attention is where your results will come as well, because you're putting the effort in. I like to say that you do a bit of both. You put the effort in and you work towards it, and the universe sees what you're doing and hears what you're doing and actually gives you a helping hand. You're giving them the clues as to what you want. So I believe all channels of energy in the same direction will actually bring the vibration and the frequency up towards that too.
Absolutely, absolutely. So what are you doing to help people become aware of what you're doing?
Very good question. So as you know, I've got my website. I'm also working via social media and through friends and contacts to help them to see a new program that I've just put together. And it's about people who are already in a job who want to, it's called Be Promotable. And then my little other tagline is without kissing ass, because there's so many people that will, hang on the coattails of people. And if that person that you're chasing along disappears at some point, then your whole plan is gone. So I've started to work on this program to help people not only feel like they can do a good job, but also show efforts in different places, that they're more versatile and they're more energetic. They've got more passion and drive. They want to be something more in the organization. And there's many different ways they can do that. So I'm starting to build up a community of people that I'm talking to and helping that way as well. And it's nice to see some of the early people I worked with actually flying in their business as well, and where they've taken things. So yeah, I'm using all sorts of channels right now to be able to do that, including talking to people on their podcasts like you.
That's very fun. So how do people get involved with your communities?
Okay, so on my website there is a page called it's to do with becoming the Be Promotable Tribe, and so there's a link on there. And we run the tribe via a WhatsApp group, so it's globally accessible. And then there's a Google Drive behind it with some material and so on. And that's going to be building organically as we go through, and I have different people with different topics. around that Be Promotable banner. So yeah, there's a sign up page on my website. But if people have questions, they can also drop me a note. My website has got my number on there, so they can WhatsApp me a question as well.
And you're in the UK, right?
I am in the UK, yeah. So
Okay.
It's a bit more useful for all sorts of time zones too.
Right. So you kind of like span the difference between like one side of the world and the other.
Yeah, I do it in my job, so I'm quite happy to do it in my community too.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So we'll put the links for people to get in touch with you. Is there anything that you would like to share with our audience that you just feel is really important to take away?
Absolutely, and thank you for asking that question. I think the important thing for me is that people are able to feel happy in their own skin, in their own environment, and in their own world. And if that's just being happier in their job, if it's knowing how to communicate better their wants and their needs from their family, prime example is a birthday. Don't expect people to know what to get you. Tell them what you want and just be over the moon when you actually get it. And that's the thing I've learned. I can't imagine people can read my mind, and it's the same for other people. So learning to not feel apologetic for having to say things like that and do things like that, because you're only here once and you deserve to be as happy as you can be for as long as you can be while you're here.
And it really makes other people happy when you tell them what you want, because then they can give you what you want, and then
Exactly.
They're happy and you're happy, and it's like a win-win.
And it saves time, right?
Yeah. Instead of, gosh, I wish they would think that this is what I want. I wish they knew me so well that they could read my mind.
Yes. But then
only the good things.
Yes. There has to be a filter, right? Absolutely.
Well, thank you so much, Lisa, for joining us. It has been my pleasure chatting with you.
Thank you so much. It's been awesome.
I look forward to seeing how all of this happiness spreads around.
Thank you for tuning in to the You World Order Showcase program. We hope today's episode has inspired you to consider how you can leverage your unique skills and talents to be the change you want to see in the world. If you're ready to take the next step and turn your passion into a 5-figure part-time business, we invite you to schedule a private consult at heartlifecoach.com. During our Passion to Profit breakthrough session, we'll work together to identify your strengths, clarify your vision, and develop a tailored plan for achieving your goals. Don't settle for mediocrity or let fear hold you back from pursuing your dreams. With the right guidance and support, you can build a thriving business that brings you joy, financial freedom, and the opportunity to make a positive impact in the world. Head over to heartlifecoach.com today to schedule your Passion to Profit breakthrough session and take the first step towards creating the life you've always wanted. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time on the You World Order Showcase program.